On January 10, 2016, Marina Menegazzo and Maria Jose Coney went on a long-awaited trip, but in the end, it turned into one of the most well-known cases in Latin America over the last 10 years. Today, we will delve deep into the haunting mystery of their disappearance, uncovering layers of deception, questions left unanswered, and a quest for justice that continues to this day. Hi, and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the mysterious disappearance of Marina and Maria. Two women, Marina Menegazzo and Maria Jose Coney, both studied economics at the National University of Quito in 2016. Marina Menegazzo also studied speech therapy at the Aconcagua University. This group helped people who had to live on the streets for one reason or another. Both girls did unpaid work for it. Their friends and acquaintances said they were two happy girls who were very close to their families. Marina Menegazzo and Maria Jose Coney went on a trip with two other friends, but they broke up with those friends afterward. On January 10th, the girls left, but Maria Jose Coney's Instagram post could help someone figure out where they went. The girls were in Cusco, Peru, on January 13th. People call Machu Picchu the city above the clouds because it is an old Inca city. It is one of Peru's most well-known sites and is on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. The girls' Instagram posts indicate that they stayed in the area for a few days. On January 18th, Maria shared two more pictures from the trip. On January 19th, the girls bid farewell to Cusco with the picture they posted. Just 4 days later, on January 23rd, they were already in Iquitos, and Maria shared a picture from Manita's beach. Over the next 10 days, the girls traveled along Ecuador's coast and across the country. On February 4th, Maria posted a picture from San Antonio, and on February 6th, she shared a picture from another place. On February 10th, she posted a picture featuring all four girls. The journey that started on January 10th was coming to an end, marked by a kind of farewell post since two girls from the group were returning to Argentina. Both Maria Jose Coney and Marina Menegazzo still had 10 days of vacation left, and they were in no rush to get back home. Instead, they returned to Montevideo, where they had initially met people from Ecuador. Maria shared a picture of herself and Marina on February 22nd. This was her last Instagram post. The girls also called their families in Argentina on February 22nd. They said they were going to be home soon. First, they had to take a bus from Ecuador to Lima, Peru. Then, they had to stay the night at a friend's house and fly from Lima to Santiago, Chile, on February 25th. They would then take the bus back to Mendoza, Argentina, where they were born and raised. At the same time, the girls told their family members that it would be hard to call them for a few days because their phone coverage would be weak. But the girls' family members could not get in touch with them in a couple of days or later. Maria and Marina's family started to worry when they did not post anything on their social media accounts. Marina's sister was the first person on social media to talk about this case. This is what she wrote next to a picture of two girls. My sister and her friend disappeared on Monday, the 22nd in Manita, Ecuador. Please spread this information. People who knew the girls wanted to know if they had flown out of the country. They tried to get in touch with the airline staff, but they could not get through. The second group said they would only share this information if the families got a court order to do so. Also, the girls' friends who had invited them to stay the night before they left said they did not show up. Because of this, Maria and Marina's family members called Ecuador's emergency services to report that they had gone missing. They also called the Argentina consulate and asked for help. On February 27th, the consulate stepped in to help. The government of Argentina sent fingerprints of both girls to Ecuador for a reason. On February 25th, the body of an unnamed woman was found in Montevideo a few days earlier. It was taken to Guayaquil. Using fingerprints from the Argentina police and fingerprints from an unnamed body, they were able to prove that the body belonged to Maria Jose Coney. On February 27, when the police examined the location where they discovered Maria's body, they also came across the body of Marina Menegazzo. It was only 43 yards away from Maria's body. Both bodies were strapped to duct-taped trash bags. From what the Ecuadorian police said, they did not find Marina's body right away because the criminal tried to hide it by putting something on top of it. The medical professional who did the exam found that Maria Jose Coney died from a blow to the head. The Ecuadorian government said she had genital injuries and a broken leg and toe. Maria was also tied up because there were marks on her arms. 6 stab cuts to the neck killed Marina Manigo. The marks on her arms were the same, so she was also tied up. News stories say that the girls died on February 23rd. Toxicological tests showed that their blood had a lot of the drug that is used to treat mental illness. Based on how the girl died, the police believe that the girls did not choose to take this drug, and it is possible that they did not even know they had taken it. It means that someone could have put it in their drinks or food. But just 24 hours after the second body was found, something new happened in this case, which made the families of the girls feel different ways. The leader of Ecuador and the Minister of the Interior both said that the police had solved the case. They caught Alberto Segundo, Mina Pan, and Aurelio Eduardo Rodriguez. Both of them admitted guilt and told what happened. The police found blood on the floor of Mina Pan's house, who was one of the suspects. Marina's bag, cell phone, and other things were close to the house. Along with the men's quick arrest, the strangest thing was that they both admitted right away. People who were following this case felt something about it. Each told their own story of what took place. José Serrano, Ecuador's Minister of the Interior, said that the girls left the hotel where they had rented a room at 2 p.m. on February 22. They planned to hitchhike to Lima because someone stole all of their money at the hotel. But the hotel owner said that this story was false because no one stole from the girls. The families of Maria and Marina did not believe this story either. They did have credit cards with them after all. As a result, the girls would use them if they ran into money problems, but there was nothing planned. It is possible that someone stole both their cash and cards. We can still use the money in the account even if we do not have the card. For example, the girls could have used the money to pay for a trip online, but they didn't. Ecuador's Minister of the Interior says that the girls then went into one of the bars and asked for a couple of glasses of water to quench their thirst. The owner of the bar confirmed this story by saying she gave the girls water since they did not have any money. It is still not clear if someone really did take all of Maria and Marina's money. The minister talked about the evidence of suspects to show how things went from there. Pan said that Rodriguez told him about 2 Argentinian girls in a bar that day around 8 p.m. They went up to the girls together and started talking. Marina and Maria told them they were walking to Lima because they did not have any money. This version also makes me think of a lot of things. The girls had bought plane tickets from Lima to Santiago, Chile. For what reason would they try to hitchhike more than 1,000 miles when they knew they might miss their flight? As we already said, they got tickets for February 25th, and Pan says that this conversation happened on the evening of February 22nd. It sounds fishy, right? But on the other hand, witnesses that the police found supported all of these strange stories. Pan let the girls stay at his house that night since it was late and they did not have any money for a place to stay the night. The girls said yes. A taxi driver told the police that he took Marina, Maria, and Pan to this house. This photo shows Pan's home. Next, based on what the Ecuadorian government said, Pan went back to the bar and started drinking with Rodriguez. At that point, Marina and Maria were the only ones in the house. Around 2:30 a.m., the guys who were very drunk went back home, but Maria and Marina were not there. The girls went to a store nearby to buy soda, which is how the police found out. No one knows for sure what kind of drink it is. Once more, the police found a witness who confirmed this, a cashier at a store. This means the girls still had some money if it is true. Pan said that when the girls came back to the house, he stayed in the room with Maria Coney, while Rodriguez stayed in a different room with Marina Manigo. Pan told Maria Coney that he wanted to get close to her, but she refused and tried to leave the house. Then he got a stick and hit the girl in the head with it. She died right away. He heard a scream from the other room at the same time. When he walked into the room, he saw that Rodriguez had killed Marina Manigo. Pan says that Rodriguez left the house right away after that. He thought about what to do about the bodies. Pan tried to clean up the house and cover the bodies with duct tape and trash bags. He got a cart from a friend in the afternoon and drove them to a flat area near the ocean, which was about 440 yards from their house. Also, no one said anything about where the marks on the girls' wrists came from. Also, there was no reason for the toxicology report that said both girls' blood had small amounts of a strong drug in it. Because of all the strange events and problems in the case, the girls' family began to question the story that the Ecuadorian government was telling. They thought that this case might have something to do with trafficking people and that the Ecuadorian government was hiding for someone. Many things made Marina and Maria's families question. To begin, the girls ran out of cash, but did not use credit cards. The second thing is that they were high on drugs. The bar owner, a taxi driver, and the cashier who purportedly sold soda to the girls were the sole witnesses who claimed to have seen Maria and Marina that day and corroborated the police's account. 5,000 people lived in the town. Also, the families did not know why the bodies were found 2 days apart, even though they were only 43 yards apart. It also did not make sense that Maria and Marina asked Pan and Rodriguez for help. A lot of Argentina tourists visit Manita every year, so it makes sense for the girls to ask someone from their country for help. Police in Ecuador took the brother of one of the victims to the scene of the crime and told him they saw used needles sitting on the ground. When he asked where they were, they just vanished. Additionally, those syringes were not visible in photos of the crime scene, and experts who looked at the scene denied that they existed. The family said that the two guys were just a front for something bigger, like trafficking people. The police planned to do a second autopsy and a new toxicology test. It turned out that both accused changed their stories of what happened many times. One story says that Minapan denied that he and Rodriguez did this act. His statement was that the person who killed the girls was a Venezuelan drug dealer who lived in the area. He did not know much about the man except that his fake name was El Chamo. The police made this man wait, but the second man said he had nothing to do with what happened and was ready to give his DNA or take a polygraph test. He had to show that he was not in that house. The crime scene had a lot of DNA samples. There is DNA from Minapan, DNA from the two dead girls, and a few samples that have not been identified yet. Rodriguez, the supposed second suspect, and El Chamo, who was ruled out as a suspect after all DNA tests, did not have any of these unidentified samples. An Argentina team did a second autopsy, and it was clear that both girls were so badly hurt that they could not protect themselves. They were both forced to be close before they died. There were other clues in the autopsy as well. Maria Jose only had cuts and bruises on one side of her body. It looked like someone had thrown her off a moving car. A new toxicological test showed that both girls were high on a strong drug that is often used to treat mental illness. This drug makes a person lose their will. What happened next sent shockwaves through Latin America. People blame the girls for their deaths, which is a sad thing that often happens. Not only regular internet users, but also famous people pointed the finger at them. Maria Cristina Rodera, who is the Deputy Minister of Tourism in Ecuador, thought the girls were to blame for what happened to them. Around the same time that the news came out that Maria and Marina had died, Berlin held a tourist fair. A German news source asked Rodera about the girls, and she said that the way they were traveling meant that something had to happen to them at some point. On top of that, she said she had never been to Montanita because it was not appropriate for her social class. At the state level, it was mostly blaming the victim, which is a very sad truth. Ecuador's government told the families of Maria and Marina they were sorry after Rodera gave this interview and fired her. Hugo Martin, an Argentina psychotherapist, was one of the most criticized people. He called the girls favorable victims and said that people like that make other people do bad things. After getting a lot of bad feedback, the doctor said that people had misread him and that he never let criminals off the hook. Hundreds of comments on the internet asserted that the girls were responsible for the events. In defense of Maria and Marina, a post on Facebook was authored by a Paraguayan student named Guadalupe Asta. The post received 700,000 reposts during its first week and gained widespread popularity. It commenced with the statement yesterday, "They were killed," in which the author rejected unwanted contact and described a violent incident involving a stick, a plastic bag, and duct tape. Subsequently, the post highlighted the humiliation that followed and the questions posed, suggesting a double standard based on gender. The post urged collective action to give voice to women with shattered aspirations and lives. The trial started on August 8, 2016. A lot of things went wrong with the case. The lawyer changed 3 times, which made the process take a lot longer than expected. Along with witness accounts and more than 200 pieces of physical evidence from the crime scene, the prosecution said what happened. In and around the house where the crime happened, the police found some of the girl's things, including bodily fluids and phones. During the trial, Pan said he was innocent and that he had only admitted because the police forced him to. This made the families of the girls even sure that the Ecuadorian government was hiding something. Rodriguez also changed his story by saying that 2 Colombian drug sellers were involved in the deaths of the girls. The prosecutor said during the first week of the hearing that he thought other people were involved with the case because the police had found 3 more samples of male DNA at the scene, in addition to Rodriguez and Pan's DNA. In Ecuador, the highest sentence for both Alberto Pan and Eduardo Rodriguez is 40 years in prison. This is what the court gave them. The Ecuadorian government said in November 2016 that they had caught someone else whose DNA they had found at the crime scene. Jose Luis Perez Castro, 34 years old, was this person. His defense said that he had lived in the house for a few weeks before the crime and that the blood on the wall was from a tooth infection he had. According to reports, he only spat on the wall. The lawyers also said that the police found his DNA on the girls' bodies because they had touched furniture or other things that he had touched before. When this man's dentist came to witness, it became clear that Castro had reached out to him, but only 2 weeks after Marina and Maria's bodies were found. This made his defense less strong. He asked the dentist for a note about a tooth infection, but the doctor would not write it because after checking around, he did not find any health issues. The dentist finally just threw him out. The person wanted a medical report, but the dentist said there must be some kind of disease for there to be pain, but I did not see that when I checked. After hearing these words, the man's argument fell apart. Castro went on social networks while he was in jail, which is against the rules, and talked about the thing that got him locked up. Castro wrote on his social media account, "I am waiting for this wrong that has been happening to me all this time to end. I have great faith that God will lead me out of this with victory." Even though he kept denying it, Jose Luis Castro was given the same 40-year prison term as Alberto Pan and Eduardo Rodriguez. The families of the girls did not believe the story that the Ecuadorian government told them, even though the family said that police officers from Argentina were involved in the investigation. Ecuador's government has not changed their story in any way. The Ecuadorian police have said that they are still looking for the other men whose samples they found in the house. What are your thoughts about this case? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.